Now, tonight, violent crime is exploding in Chicago, as many big blue states and cities. Murders go totally unsolved. Our friend John Walsh will join us with a full investigation tonight. And Prince Harry, you know, Britain's most entitled, most insufferable celebrity, along with his wife, has now chosen to reside full-time in the U.S. He wants a quiet life out of the public eye, but he just denounced our country during a speech at the United Nations. We're going to ask Piers Morgan why the good prince is living in a country that brings him so much shame. Piers, by the way, we'll send him right back home to you. He'll join us in a bit. First tonight, the sky is falling yet again. According to Democrats, the Earth's imminent destruction is now because of climate change. They really mean it this time. Now, naturally, the only way to save humanity is to give them more power. So today, your president, Joe Biden, boarded Air Force One, and for a short, well, high carbon footprint flight to Massachusetts, and then went for a ride in a giant fleet of SUVs, gas-guzzling SUVs, specifically shipped from Washington, D.C., and then traveled to a dust-covered lot filled with diesel-powered excavators, where an Italian company plans to manufacture underwater cables for wind turbines at some point in the future. Now, as someone on Twitter put it, quote, "Nothing screams reassurance like the President of the United States speaking live from an abandoned lot next door to a strip club near the airport." Biden was there to tout America's great transition to clean energy, transition, key word, and preview his big upcoming executive orders on climate change. Joe Bastardi will join us on this in a little bit, but instead, he accidentally told everyone that he has cancer, which we didn't know. Take a look.
The little school I went to, Holy Rosary Grade School, and because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
That's why I and so many others have cancer? Turns out Joe Biden doesn't have cancer. The worst walkback perhaps ever, the White House claiming that Joe was referring to the removal of a non-melanoma, non-life-threatening spot on his skin, which, according to the White House physician, was caused by 78 years in the sun, not oil, as he claims, falling from the sky in Delaware. What he was talking about, nobody knows. It's not the first time Biden's White House has been forced to issue an embarrassing correction following a speech of Joe Biden. You might remember that a year ago, they walked back his claim that the last 5 Fed chairs, 2 of which are dead, support his spending plans. Last October, they walked back his vow to call up the National Guard to resolve the supply chain crisis. In January, they had to walk back Biden's pledge to look the other way if Vladimir Putin's invasion into Ukraine was only a minor incursion. In March, they walked back his call for regime change in Russia and his vow to respond in kind to a chemical weapons attack. In May, they had to walk back Biden's pledge to go to war with China over Taiwan. In July, the White House pretended that Joe meant to read the speaking cues in the teleprompter, repeat the line, which, as you know, is now gone viral, kind of like, "Let's go, Brandon." And we could go on and on. But let's get back to the looming apocalypse now, or as Mayor Pete put it, we're running out of time. Our days are numbered. The end is near. Well, if the end is near, let's just throw one hell of a big party on the way out. That's my idea. Take a look.
Nobody thinks that you can make this change overnight, but also I think there's a clear understanding that when it comes to the climate, we're running out of time. The science is unambiguous in terms of the level of threat, in terms of the lives and livelihoods that America and the world stand to lose if we don't accelerate our action.
All right, this manufactured crisis is, of course, a pretense for their giant socialist power grab. That's what New Green Dealism is all about. You give up your rights for empty promises. You empty out your wallets for less freedom in exchange for what they say is government-paid housing, guaranteed government salary, guaranteed government job, guaranteed government health care, guaranteed government healthy food, guaranteed government-paid vacation, guaranteed government-paid cleaner, greener planet. You might have noticed Democrats are calling this a transition. We are in the middle of a transition. We're transitioning. What are we transitioning to? What is the alternative to oil, gas, and coal? Okay, renewables. What renewables? Take a look.
Just 15 years ago, America generated more than half its electricity from coal-fired plants. Today, that's down to 20%. Because there's a big transition happening.
This is what a transition looks like, right? This is exactly the challenge that we're living through.
To make sure that the American consumer has what it needs to grow our economy and the global economy, but not take steps and endanger the climate work that we're trying to do to make sure that we're on a better footing to accelerate the transition.
We all have to be able to reduce the emissions. We have to accelerate the transition.
This clean energy transition could be the peace project of our time.
And when it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger.
Now, the only transition is away from energy independence to energy dependence on Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, OPEC, and Venezuela, countries that hate our guts. He wants to make them rich again and us poor again and us dependent again and compromise on national security in the meantime. Now, this so-called transition, did you get the word of the day? Transition will not make life better on the planet. It won't make the planet any cleaner. In fact, for the foreseeable future, meaning at least the next couple of decades, it is logistically and economically impossible to transition to their renewable sources of energy. The technology is not up to speed to begin with. And yesterday, the genius Mayor Pete, transportation secretary, known for filling potholes out in South Bend, Indiana, said he liked the pain that it's causing you, the American people. The pain it's causing is good. Take a look.
The more pain we are all experiencing from the high price of gas, the more benefit there is for those who can access electric vehicles.
The more pain, the more benefit. So while that genius Mayor Pete is applauding your pain, Joe Biden continues to restrict our domestic production of oil and gas, filling the void by importing energy from heavy polluters in the Middle East, South America, and anywhere else but here. Of course, this great transition, it's not about saving the planet. If the Earth is in such danger, why doesn't the Biden administration give up their massive fleet? They have 924 jets and helicopters. That costs you, the taxpayer, nearly $1 billion every year. You pay for it. You pay for the jet fuel. You pay for that big, fat carbon footprint. Now, in reality, this transition isn't about the planet. Instead, it's all backdoor socialism. Democrats, in theory, rule in perpetuity. One big problem, as it stands now, almost no one supports Joe Biden or his fellow Democrats, but more pain, it's better for their agenda. Now, they're historically unpopular. Brand new Quinnipiac poll out today. Biden's approval rating dropped to another all-time low, only 31% approval. Among independents, it's even lower at 23%. And get this, according to the same poll, Joe's approval among Hispanic Americans is even lower. 19%. Now a majority of African Americans polled, they don't want Joe to run for a second term. Keep in mind, Democrats cannot win a nationwide election without Hispanic and African American support. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.